Part 2 of today's episode, we're going to talk about the Sugar Bowl. God gave us the Rose Bowl, and God gave us that outcome. And then he was like, just wait, there's more. Watch this. Washington defeats Texas 37-31. We both picked Washington. And I just want to highlight, as we go into this, that I told you, listener, that Washington can do this thing where they say, you name your style of play, we'll do it. Here's what they did that night. They basically said, we want to beat Texas in the air. We want to eat you alive with the big play. And they did. Washington, Dylan Johnson, 21 carries, 49 yards. Michael Penix, 3 carries, 31 yards. Tybo Rogers, 5 carries, 19 yards. Why am I listing these names? Because collectively, 31 carries, 102 yards. If you tell me that stat line in any game, I'm probably not picking that team that goes 31 for 102, which is a hair over a 3 yard per carry average. Probably not doing it. But Michael Penix sits back in his purple and says, hold my beer and watch me thread this needle. This guy is electric. He is unbelievable. And I cannot wait to see how his game translates into the NFL. I'm not saying he's a guaranteed success. I'm not saying he's a bust, because I think it's a lot like the 5-star prospect when it comes from high school to college. You just don't know until they take the field. I don't think we're going to know until he actually takes the field in the NFL, but I can't wait to watch it because his arm is live. And he sees the whole dang field, dude. If there is an open guy, he's not going to miss him. If there is a receiver that he can throw open, he will do it. He will do it. He's can do it. This. Tell me a part of this game that Michael Penix lacks, that he doesn't have in his arsenal, because the kid's got it all in my mind.
He's absolutely got it all. This is, and look, I love, and I think it's correct that Jaden Daniels won the Heisman. But if there's ever a year where it should have been 2 guys, God, Michael Penix Jr., what a guy. I mean, seriously, everything that you just described. You remember last year, and we're getting close to previewing the national championship game. Do you remember last year when we were sitting around like, what can TCU do to even come close to Georgia? And I was like, well, we probably both said it. Man, Duggan's going to have to throw some guys open. You know what I mean? They're not going to have time. They're not going to have windows. He's going to have to throw some guys open.
Yeah.
Penix would have been the perfect opponent, I think, for your classic Alabama, when they had Deshaun or they had Lawrence. Your modern Georgia, what they face, what they present offenses now.
Yeah.
His timing, his vision, like you're saying, it's just unbelievable. He's fearless, but he's not like a risky type of gunslinger. I mean, he's got some turnovers because everybody's going to, and he could get you in trouble from time to time. He's also very likely to dig you out of that hole if you put you in it. I mean, he's amazing, and these receivers, man, they're a blast to watch.
This might be one of the greatest passing offenses we've ever seen, and you have to put them with that 2019 LSU team, right? If you're saying, hey, Dan, pick one. You're building a team. You have to start with a passing offense. Are you taking 2019 LSU? Or are you taking 2023 Washington? You're going to have to talk me out of taking Washington, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I'm biased because of I just think Justin Jefferson and, the Bengals receiver from
Ja'Marr
LSU.
Chase.
Ja'Marr Chase are amazing. As I got a lot of love for Burrow as well. But you're totally right. It's splitting hairs. It is, probably any given day, maybe a different answer because they're just unbelievable. And what a guy Kalen DeBoer is, huh?
Dude, right? This is, we praised Saban in segment 1 talking about the Rose Bowl. Not enough conversation around Kalen DeBoer. Now, a lot of people are going to say, I'm glad you said this. A lot of people are going to say, well, he's built his team around 24 and 25-year-olds. And it's not wrong. It's not illegal. And you know what?
How old was Stetson Bennett last January?
Yeah. Okay. So how old was Hendon Hooker when he left Tennessee?
Perfect. Perfectly fair.
Who cares? Okay, so they didn't recruit well of high school. They went and did it in the places you could. All right. So props to
Yeah.
them. And when Michael Penix entered the portal, tell me all the teams who didn't have access to him. Nobody. They all had access to him. So it was a level playing field. All right. So I don't want to hear that argument. I really don't want to hear that argument. And that's not a shot at anybody because I've had a couple people text me about that. It's not a shot. It's just my thought. You mentioned Penix in the Heisman conversation and Daniels winning that thing rightfully. Agreed. I agree. However, take Michael Penix, what he's done on the field, take his stat line, take his plays, and put him in a Texas uniform. Put him in a Gator uniform and tell me he doesn't win it.
That's the exact moment. Look, maybe I'm an assumptive person, and I'm just not giving the Heisman voters any credit because they don't deserve it. And that would have been their perfect scenario where they were then able to take the best player on the best team, is what that would have been.
Yeah.
Maybe they're turning over a new leaf. That's kind of the indication I get with Daniels winning it. Look, he edged him out quite substantially in some areas. And, Penix doesn't run like he used to because he's had a couple of ACL surgeries and he's still doing these things. But I'm with you, man. I think in that moment, you put him in that burnt orange, or you put a gator on the side of his helmet, or, God forbid, he's got a number on the side of his helmet and he's playing in crimson or something like that.
Right.
And you try to convince me that he's not holding the Heisman in New York City, and you're not going to, based on the way the vote has gone prior to this year.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying. One more thing on this. We talked in segment 1 how maybe Bama was a little surprised at the physicality of Michigan. Tell me the whole world. And tell me I didn't call it.
You did.
How surprised people were at the physicality of Washington. Those dudes are filthy when it comes to like playing with aggressive hands and like getting all up in your business. Dude, those guys are physical. The push that they got on those 4 and 5 stars of that offensive line of Texas, the push that they got against that front 7, the time that at times, not every time, that Penix had against an elite Texas front, right? I mean, those dudes are going pro. They're going to play in the NFL. Sweat is a first rounder.
Dude, that is, especially on Texas defense, I mean, that's their best position group maybe on the team. You talk about the combo of Ewers, Mitchell, Worthy. That's a great combo. But that defensive line unit, man, you saw what they did in Tuscaloosa. You saw what they did all season long. That's probably their best unit on the team. Certainly on their defense, where they're not quite there yet at every linebacker spot. Certainly not at every defensive back spot. That's an elite unit, just like you're saying, filled with future pros, really good pros, I think.
Yeah.
And it like nothing more to me can hammer home that whatever style Washington needs to play, they're going to play it. However it needs to be done, they're going to do it to win. They feel like a team of destiny. And look, Michigan does too. When we talk about the way that, and you need a certain amount of destiny, a certain amount of luck to go your way to get to this point, unless you are just 7 deep, full of 5 stars like certain teams have been.
Yeah.
But they feel like a team of destiny. They play like one. I think they have that belief, within their guys that you got to have obviously to be there as well, because the things they are doing are just so much fun to watch. It's like when you first saw, the Rams explode under Kurt Warner and those guys. It's that feeling.
Oh, great point.
It takes you back to that. I'm a little jaded looking back as a child, as a youth back because of the Titans losing to them in the fashion they did. But it's very similar, man. It's 2019 LSU, 2022 Tennessee, but way better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that's the feeling that I get, and it feels good to watch. It's so fun to watch.
Yeah. No, dude, I'm with you. Now, as good as Washington was, as physical as they were, as on their game as they were, I mean, Texas put up 498 yards of total offense. Washington put up 532. So here's my point. As good as Washington was, I think the difference in this was that C.J. Baxter fumble in the second half. Texas was just never really able to come back from that and overcome it.
Yeah. And look, you had three running backs put the ball on the ground 4 times. You only lose 2 of them, but that's tough, man. When you're talking about running backs, guys that their job, I mean, their number one job when they get the ball is hold on to it. And you have Baxter fumbled once, you have Blue lose a fumble another time. Keelan Robinson fumbled twice per ESPN, didn't lose either one of them. I actually struggled to find that. Thinking back to watching the portions of the game that I watched and then the highlights that I've seen since. But ball security, it kills. It is much like the Michigan-Alabama game was a true, pure game of inches.
Yeah.
Find another pillar of the game, and it's ball security, and especially when you can't hold on to it, with guys that are supposed to do that, like a running back.
Yeah, yeah. Which, I mean, all of this just sets up narrative-wise so beautifully for this upcoming national championship game with what I would call like a traditional Michigan, put the ball on the ground, quarterback who can manage the game, but he's got some playmaker in him and an elite defense. And Washington with a really good defense as well, with a prolific passing attack and a more than capable running game. Now, Dylan Johnson is a conversation that we need to get into because they really just don't give anybody touches after him. And he's going to be going into this game with a leg injury. He was only 21 for 49 on the ground, which, I mean, that's how we started this thing, right? 31 total for $102. So just sets up so well for Monday night, and I just absolutely cannot wait. Monday Night Football got a new meaning, baby.
Whole new meaning. The saving grace of Monday Night Football. Yeah. It should be, I just hope that whoever wins it, because here's the other beautiful thing: when the SEC gets left out, I don't care. I don't care who wins it, but I just hope it's half as good as these 2 bowl games were, these first round games.
Yeah. And I will say, Big Ten, you don't get to claim Washington. Nope.
Yet.
They ran through a Pac-12 schedule, not a Big Ten West schedule. Chill the heck out.
Yeah, way more impressive in 2023 than running through what Iowa and Wisconsin and half of the East played, talking about West opponents.
Yeah.
Way more impressive, even though you had a heavyish top 2. You certainly got a team in contention for a title. You had a very top-heavy conference. They were much more parity going on in the Pacific Conference.
Pacific, yeah. Hey, one more thing, game-related, unless you have something. I want to talk about Quinn Ewers for a second and A.D. Mitchell. I just kind of feel bad for Quinn Ewers, man. I really do. Coming out of high school, he kind of striked me as egotistical, cocky, and it could have just been the hair. Could have been judging a book by its cover. Maybe it was the fact that he goes off to Ohio State, collects his bag, comes back. But the guy he's really likable now.
He is.
And he's a quarterback who's not getting enough credit. I think the world would perceive him differently if Arch Manning is not behind him. I mean, the media days, tell me you saw this picture, right?
Good God.
Where they're surrounded Manning. I mean, summarize the Vol fan base with a picture, and there it is, right?
Yeah.
So I just kind of feel bad, but I mean, listen, his percentage Monday night was not good. He's going to be a hair over 50%, I believe, 24 for 43. Yep. I think that's going to put him in the 60%-ish. Not real sure. 318 got him to score to what? How do I want to word this? To an amazing A.D. Mitchell. Holy crap. I don't think I had enough respect on this guy's name.
A.D. Mitchell, who has a touchdown catch in every playoff game he's appeared in.
That's wild. That's wild.
Unbelievable clutch gene.
Now, here I say all that to get to here. It was obvious in the very last snap. A.D. Mitchell is where Quinn Ewers was going to go, and his mistake was it wasn't there. It wasn't there. whether A.D. Mitchell didn't get off well. I mean, it just wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And as good as Ewers, I believe, has been, don't throw that ball. Don't do it because it's not there. It reminded me a lot of 2015 Tennessee, Georgia. I forget that quarterback. Grayson Lambert, is that right?
Yeah.
Throws it and it's not there. And we're able to get an easy PBU and win that game. Maybe that was the only option. Maybe that was the play design. If that is, shame on Sarkisian. I think you need to, in that situation, you need to have more than one option. All right?
Yeah.
They were awesome. I thought Ewers and Mitchell were fantastic, except for that last play, which when it really, really mattered.
Totally with you, man. Totally with you. You know, I would also consider getting it to someone a little bit maybe bigger bodied, even though Mitchell is 6'4", get it to someone who can just, if it's got to be a jump ball, I think it would have been a little bit better than you got a chance at a rebound, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus a ball that's kind of like you're talking about with the 2015 Georgia-Tennessee game, just swapped right out of bounds. You know what I mean? I think there's better opportunities that you can give.